Venerable Bhikkhuni, I have another question that the Buddha says our perception is like a mirage. That means we see forms. Then according to Buddhism, it is a mirage form. That means perceiving a mirage form.
Illusion.
Yes, mirage-like form. When we look at, for example, when we look at this mango tree, according to the Buddha's teachings, it is a mirage. Identifying is a mirage. Then, but people think that people can gain or get a real thing out of what they see. What do you think about that?
Venerable Sir, I think your question is very important question and very relevant to the modern world. Because today we are seeing so many people in pursuit of the things they see, hear and experience. They see various things through their eyes, they hear various things through their ears, and they taste various things through their tongues and attempt to gain those things. They go in pursuit of those senses.
They think that they can achieve something.
Of course, yes. They feel that those are things that they can achieve. Those things are there for them to achieve. They get into a certain kind of unrest, even trying to gain those things. However, if you look at it in a realistic way, if we look at the things we experience, we sense in a realistic way, there is the question whether those things are actually the same way in reality. We are seeing those things, we are seeing the reality of things. I will give an example. You are seeing a tree. For example, there is a tree here. You see the tree through your eyes and it's a mango tree. You get the idea that it is a mango tree. And there are leaves and they are green. There is a trunk. There are so many information that you process and come into the conclusion that this is a tree. But when you look at the same tree through a microscope, what will you see? Will you see the same thing? You will not even be able to identify in relation to what you saw through your eyes. It is a completely different thing. So if we see through it with even stronger device, the view will be even more different. It will be even more different what we see. So I think we understand that it is just a illusion that we are seeing. And if I may explain through science, because Buddhism and science are just very similar, not two very different subjects. In science that we learn that everything in this world are made up of particles or atoms, let's say. And these are all just atoms. The things we see are just various formations of atoms. There's nothing more to it than that. And we see things, we hear things, and when we see, we feel that this is the reality. We think it is the real nature of the thing. And we try to pursue it. But we tend to label things and give a certain name to something. And that name becomes a convention or a common agreement, and it becomes accepted in common. But it is just a label. It is just an agreement. There's nothing more to it than that. It's just a concept and a label. And the more we get attached to those labels, the more deceived we get. We are unable to see the reality if we see only at the surface and we are only concerned about the label. See something else from the distance, and when we get closer, it is something else. That is the nature of a mirage. And when we look at a tree from the distance, we see it as a one clump of greenery. But the closer we get, we start seeing the leaves separately. There are separate leaves. And when we get even more closer, or when we see at it through a microscope or something, we see it even more differently. So it changes from time to time and from place to place and from even person to person.